Hello, this is Grandmaster Ted Gambardella, and I want to talk to you about 5 ways that Bruce Lee changed the world. You know, I just got through watching a show on the History Channel about how Bruce Lee changed the world. It was well produced and well presented, but I don't think it was entirely accurate about the true influence that Bruce Lee had in the world. After watching the show, you were led to believe that Bruce Lee was the second coming, and he definitely was not that. He was the primary factor at the time in a huge gain in popularity of martial arts in America and the world, but he is not the reason for all the events discussed in the show. Speaking as someone who was already a black belt at the time of the release of Enter the Dragon, I believe I speak from a position of authority, knowing the current state of martial arts before Bruce Lee and the state of martial arts after Bruce Lee. When Bruce Lee's Enter the Dragon hits the theater in America, it changed American karate in the following ways. 1. Bruce Lee gave karate credibility. Enter the Dragon was the first martial arts movie that looked realistic. There were tons of martial arts movies before Bruce Lee, and all from China and Japan, and all had the same guys getting beaten up dozens of times in the same movie without getting injured. Thousands of yells, kicks, and punches in a movie, and not one busted lip. Bruce Lee was the first person to actually hit someone, and they didn't get back up to fight the next scene. He did not do that in his earlier movies. In his earlier movies, he beat up the same guy 4 or 5 times. In Enter the Dragon, he hit them, and they stayed down or even died. Bruce Lee caused a surge in the karate tournaments and created a notoriety for karate fighters. After Bruce Lee's, everybody wanted to be in a karate tournament to show their fighting powers. The tournaments were huge, but there were only a few. You went to 3 or 4 tournaments a year, not one a week, like now. Bruce Lee and the movie Billy Jack gave karate the street credibility it did not have before. Number 2, Bruce Lee made martial arts weapons hot. It was the first time we saw the nunchuck, the bow, and the staff being used realistically. No one had ever even seen the nunchuck in the United States movie before. It amazed people. And at the time in American karate, not many schools taught weapons. The American schools definitely did not, because most of the teachers did not know the weapons. The Oriental teachers might have known the weapons, but they did not teach weapons to anyone who wasn't a black belt. Bruce Lee, using the nunchuck, the bow, and the staff, inspired me to write the first weapons manual by an American author, me. The Complete Book of Karate Weapons, which is still in print after 30 years. The only other book on nunchuckers was by Fujio Demura, in my book. No one knew how to use weapons, and they were simply amazed at the power of these weapons, and they started using them. Bruce Lee made learning karate weapons hot, and they stay popular until today. Number 3, Bruce Lee got children interested in karate. Before Bruce, most people taking karate were adults or young teens. No school made a living teaching children. The teachers did not think children could learn the deadly art of karate. Back then, if you had a black belt in karate, you were considered a deadly weapon, and this could be used against you in a court of law. There certainly were no children black belts. In the 1960s and 70s, having a black belt in karate was a true honor, and only a few people in any given city had one. If you had one, you were given enormous credibility in the street because karate back then was new, and no one had any defense for your kicks, punches, takedowns, joints, locks, etc. No one had ever seen karate kicks in a street fight before. When I had some street fights and kicked the other guy with a side kick or a roundhouse, they were dumbfounded and had no idea how to block or stop it. Bruce Lee was responsible for 20 years of growth in karate in America and changed it from an adult sport to a children's style. Now, if you have a black belt in karate, you can be 5 years old. And if you're in your teens or older, you can have a black belt in karate that means you can't beat up anybody. A black belt doesn't have any near the prestige it did before. The only black belt that has any street credibility now are the jiu-jitsu black belts. Bruce Lee movie hit America, the karate tournament. When Bruce Lee hit America, karate meant something. Now it doesn't mean as much anymore to be a karate black belt. Number 4, Bruce Lee had a profound influence on bodybuilding, weight training, and nutrition in the martial arts. Bruce was a very little man, lots of definition, but small. At the time of his death, he was trying to gain 10 pounds of muscle because he was not happy about his actual size and strength. It was Arnold Schwarzenegger who made bodybuilding popular, not Bruce Lee. I don't know a single karate student or teacher who started bodybuilding because of Bruce Lee. I started training with weights long before Bruce Lee, and there were not many karate people that lifted weights. Most of the karate people had terrible bodies. Not many karate people had muscles. Joe Louis was the first karate champion with a great body and skills. I was one of the few karate teachers in the entire South that had a great body. Everyone I personally trained or met didn't even lift weights or know how to lift weights. Bruce Lee had the same effect on bodybuilding at that time. He didn't have any books on bodybuilding and muscles and stuff like that. They weren't really around. Bodybuilding wasn't popular, but Bruce had a profound effect on making martial artists want to get a good body and look good. Now look at how all the MMA guys all have a great body. Number 5, Bruce Lee had a huge economic impact on martial arts magazines, movies, and publications. Bruce Lee made karate magazines sell and sold movie tickets. There were only 1 or 2 martial arts magazines before Bruce Lee. They didn't sell many copies and mostly concentrated on judo. Black Belt magazine was the biggest in almost all judo. Judo was a lot bigger than karate before Bruce Lee, but never was the biggest again after him. Bruce Lee made karate #1 and stayed #1 in the martial arts since then. Not Kung Fu. Bruce Lee did Kung Fu, or Jeet Kune Do. And that's never really become popular in America. I don't know why, it just hasn't. Bruce Lee made Karate King. Bruce Lee made martial arts movie sell, book sales, and made karate really popular. But now that has faded a lot and MMA has taken over. Before Bruce Lee and the martial arts movie was a continual long fight. They were fighting the same guys over and over again. After Bruce Lee, the karate movies became more realistic. Now they've lost their realism again. The flying monks, people that can walk on water, the crazy things you see in the Kung Fu movies just aren't real anymore. But Bruce Lee had a profound effect in the world in those 5 ways. I'd like to hear your comments on what you think and how Bruce Lee changed the world. This is Grandmaster Gambadella. I'll see you next time.